It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life. Oh, we're live?
Yep, we're live.
Lovely. Hello, folks. Jordan Chariton, driving through the United Corporations of America on a rainy evening. We'll try to stay live as long as Mother Earth will let us. It was storming pretty bad before.
Yeah.
Hope my wife's not watching. Don't want her texting me. Get off the road. So we are on the road for our swing state reporting trip. We started out in Pennsylvania a few days ago. We've been in Michigan the last few days, and now we're on the way a little over 3 hours away from Wisconsin, where we'll be. Time is really blurring. So, what did we do yesterday? Oh, yesterday we were in Detroit. A lot of great interviews, most of which we recorded. And I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm getting the vibe in Detroit. I know the polls, most of the polls show Kamala Harris is up. But I think Michigan's going to be very close, and from what I'm seeing, could go to Trump. So we could talk about that. We also interviewed somebody in Detroit yesterday about the massive problem that the buses don't come on time. And it is a chronic issue in the city of Detroit, and a lot of folks think it's intentional to try and push poor folks out, push poor black people out, i.e. gentrification. And today, we went back to Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is on the western part of Michigan, to do an update on a story we began covering a year ago about the multi-billion-dollar packaging company, Graphic Packaging, that is literally gassing a poor black community. So we interviewed a bunch of folks this afternoon in Kalamazoo, and then we were fortunate to be able to interview, for you Status Coup viewers who have been watching for a long time, Deanne Winfield, who is she lives a block away from the paper mill. Her daughter tragically died at the age of 17 from severe asthma as a result of the toxic gas that they're releasing. And earlier this year in January, her 32-year-old son died. So we did an interview with her. Pretty apparent that both of her children's death is directly linked to this toxic gas that caused them. They were healthy before they moved a block away from the paper mill, but she's now lost 2 children because of this paper mill, and she's got another one that's living that is very, very sick and having to go to the hospital every week because of severe asthma attacks. And of course, they're poor. They can't move. So that was a really depressing, heartbreaking interview. The kind of stuff that makes you realize that if we had a sane media system in this country, this would be the stuff on the front pages. These would be the people that journalists would be racing to talk to expose these stories. Somebody might ask Governor Gretchen Whitmer, why, Democrat by the way, why have you helped this packaging company, multi-billion-dollar packaging company? Why did you help them with a $125 million bond deal that her administration approved in 2021 that allowed this multi-billion-dollar packaging company that's releasing over 30 types of toxic gas that's literally poisoning the community? And just wait till you see this interview with Deanne. It's pretty awful, right?
It was.
It was just devastating, speaking with her. And she said, you're the only ones still covering this, meaning us. Myself and one other journalist has even bothered to talk to her. It's just devastating. So we're going to try and roll out these interviews. You know, it's tough when you're on the road because when we record stuff, you know, we got to wait till we get back to the hotel to transfer the footage over to Colin so he could edit it. But like the hotel we were at last night in, I forget where, Jackson, Michigan, the Wi-Fi sucked, so we couldn't get anything over. So don't think we're not doing anything just because you haven't seen anything yet today. We're doing a lot. We've probably done, what, in the last 3 days? 8 or 9 interviews? Plus all the driving. Forget the, oh, God. My shoulder's going to fall off. So that's the deal. We've been to Detroit, Kalamazoo. John and Jason were in Pennsylvania for a few days. And now we're going to Wisconsin because obviously Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin are the swing states. So over the next day or two, we're going to be talking to folks in Wisconsin. If you live in Wisconsin, we're going to the Milwaukee area and you have a story. We're not going to these swing states to cover the polls. We're not going to the swing states to ask people, who are you voting for? I think there's plenty of that already out there. We want to go, we want to get the pulse. Oh, that sign says whiskey. Red, white, blue in a bottle? Well, I love that. We want to kind of get a pulse for what's happening on the ground. You know, you could listen to pundits and polls, or you could go to places and you could kind of get a feel for a vibe for which candidates are possibly going to win. I got a vibe in Detroit that they're not so sold on Kamala Harris, particularly black men. But we also want to go there to cover the actual issues that matter to people in these communities that the mainstream media cannot be bothered to cover. So over the next few days, we're going to be talking to folks to really spotlight what are the stories, what are the issues in Wisconsin that matter to voters. So again, we're doing all this on the fly. If you're in the area in Milwaukee or nearby and you have a story you think we should cover or you want to be interviewed, feel free to email us, info@statuscoup.com, info@statuscoup.com, and we'll see if we can make it work. But yeah, that's the story, my thoughts. And you know, it's interesting when you're on the road in these states, you see, I mean, billboards everywhere for Trump or Harris, and it's just so absurd. Kamala Harris billboard. Kamala Harris, a big fawning photo. Kamala Harris supports raising the minimum wage. Well, you sold me. That's what the billboard says. Kamala Harris supports raising the minimum wage. To what? Well, we'll leave out that detail. How are you going to do it? Stop with the questions. It just says Kamala Harris on a big-ass billboard supports the minimum wage.
If we pass the motion.
Yeah, if we pass it. Or like Trump is just, make America great again. Kamala Harris signs with boxes to check. Voted to expand Medicare, voted for this. But of course, none of this means anything because she's not going to fight for most of these things if she gets in office. And Trump's going to fight for a lot of things. They're all going to be terrible. Sorry if you're watching and you're MAGA. I'm not here to, kiss the MAGA ring. Trump's awful. Harris is awful. So, yeah, that's what's going on. I don't know about you, but my vibe in Michigan, which I think if Kamala Harris loses Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin, it's going to be incredibly difficult for her to win the election because they call it the blue wall. Those 3 states are very important. Like if she loses Michigan, for example, she would have to win Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and then win probably 1 or 2 of the other swing states. Same thing if she loses Pennsylvania. But I got to feel in Michigan, if you're watching for Michigan, for Democrats to win on the presidential level. Oh, I should have said, smash the like button, share this live stream. I don't, things have been tricky on YouTube, but hopefully we get a big audience. There is no other outlets doing this kind of reporting. No corporate outlets, no independent outlets. They're not covering the stories we're covering, and they're not traveling the distances we're traveling, and they're not exhausting and killing themselves to do it either. We are exhausting and killing themselves. And John, where was I this morning?
In the gym.
I was in the gym, in the hotel. I almost collapsed, but I said, you know what? My body's breaking down, and I need to run. So I went on the elliptical. I think I made it 20 minutes. I did have a bit of a hangover, I'm not going to lie. So that was good. But I think that from what I could tell, you got to really do well as a Democrat in Michigan, in Detroit and Wayne County. Detroit is part of Wayne County. For a Democrat to win in Michigan, you got to run up the numbers, specifically in Detroit, among black voters and Wayne County in general. You got to overperform there. In 2016, Hillary Clinton, part of why she lost is she underperformed among black voters in Detroit. We didn't talk to every voter in Detroit, but the vibe I was getting from people I talked to was a lot of black men in particular are kind of gravitating towards Trump. I mean, there's a range of reasons. I mean, not all black men. Obviously, Harris is going to win the black vote. But if enough black men don't vote, or if enough black men vote for Trump, and we're really talking about black men under 50, so there is a generational divide, that coupled with the Arab American population, which I think Kamala Harris is going to go down potentially as high as 60%. I think the Democrats are going to hemorrhage as much as 60% of the Arab American vote compared to what Biden got in 2020. A lot of that will be Arab Americans voting for Jill Stein. A lot of that will be potentially Arab Americans voting for other races, but leaving president off. I believe they could vote uncommitted if they wanted to as well. But when you look at the Arab American vote, and then if she doesn't get enough support among black men, that could sink her. And if that sinks her, good luck. But I'll also say, I think one of the interviews we did yesterday, and again, the Wi-Fi wasn't great at the hotel, so we're a little delayed in posting them. One of the interviews we did, we actually went to a famous church in Detroit. It's the old King Solomon Church, I believe it's called. And this is where Martin Luther King actually gave his original I Have a Dream speech. And Malcolm X came to that church. And I was expecting, because it was a National Action Network rally. So National Action Network is Sharpton's organization. Not particularly a fan of Al Sharpton, by the way. So I was expecting, all right, you're going to get mostly, African-American voters that are rah-rah Democrats. So I wanted to interview them. I interviewed 3 women. One was a woman of very few words. All she said was, Donald Trump's an asshole, don't vote for Donald Trump. But the other 2, I would venture to guess African-American women in their 60s, 50s, 60s, potentially 70s. These are lifetime Democrats. Like, these are the quintessential, black female, which is the backbone of the Democratic Party everywhere. The most consistent voter for the Democratic Party has always been black women in America. And I was surprised. I didn't ask them before I interviewed them, but I just assumed they were voting for Harris and they were knocking on doors for Harris. I mean, both of them were very mixed. I don't think either of them know who they're voting for. One of them, I think, was leaning towards Trump, and the other one, they are both so disgusted with the Democratic Party. And again, this is like lifetime knocking on doors, going to rallies, canvassing for Democrats on the local level, state level, and federal level, for 30 years. And they are so frustrated and so fed up with the Democratic Party because of the gentrification. And by the way, we are going to read your super chat, so please, I am not beyond begging. We need your money. This is incredibly expensive to do these kind of trips. 3 states, multiple cities, the food, the gas, the hotels. It really adds up. Obviously paying John, paying Jason. So, I wish real journalism could be free, but it costs money to make it. So I'm hoping if you are a Status Coup member, thank you. If you could donate on top of your membership, that would be amazing. StatusCoup.com/donate. I'd love to break even on this trip. This trip, by the end of it, is probably going to cost us somewhere around $4 to $5 grand. So if we could at least raise that much to break even, we really appreciate, small amounts, obviously big amounts, if you can donate a little bigger. But even if you could only donate a few bucks, StatusCoup.com/donate. That's StatusCoup.com/donate. donate. And more importantly, if you say to me, Jordan, which one do you prefer? Do you want me to donate or do you want me to sign up as a paying monthly member? 100% sign up as a paying monthly member. If you can only do one thing, sign up as a member, because if we grow our paid membership, then we could do more of this reporting consistently. And if there is a God, I could hire another reporter because I'm breaking down. So I'm going on 9 years on the road, and it wears on you after a while. Even though I've scaled back a little bit after having my daughter, I'm working crazy hours, and when I'm not on the road, I'm working crazy hours trying to cover 25 stories at once. So we need help. So please support us, and super chats are appreciated as well. But I was just blown away by that interview because basically two lifelong Democrats, African-American women, backbone, they all but said they're going to vote for Trump. I mean, they didn't say it, but one of them said, I'm definitely leaning that way. And the other one, between the corrupt Democratic mayor, Mike Dugan, between the gentrification that's going on forever in Detroit, between the tax scams that are making poor black people pay excess taxes to basically make up for the city of Detroit giving all these corporations tax breaks and tax cuts, all these developers sweetheart deals. They're just fed up. They're tired of volunteering and knocking on the doors and, going to the rallies and supporting candidates, and really their material conditions are not changing. And you could say, well, Jordan, stop pushing that message. Trump's worse. But we're not talking about Trump. They're fed up with the Democratic Party on the local level. But after a while, if you get so fed up with the Democratic Party in your city and your state, you're kind of going to want something different nationally, too. So I think that Kamala Harris is going to win the black vote, to be clear. But I think that a lot of this kind of flirtation with Trump among black men, black voters, is just frustration and, frankly, disgust with the Democratic Party. And you'll say, well, Jordan, you're making it seem like Republicans do anything for them. Of course Republicans don't, but they know that already. They know that. That's why they've supported Democrats, because the Democrats are saying, we're the party of the working people. The Democrats are saying, we're here to support you. We're here to fight the evil Republicans, to get you better health care, to get you better housing. And I think a lot of them don't see Trump as a traditional Republican, so to speak. Even though, and I told the woman yesterday, I'm like, wait, but the very thing that you're complaining to me about, understandably so, the gentrification, real estate developers getting whatever they want, Trump's all about that. That was Trump's entire business career. Getting tax breaks for doing nothing, buying off politicians, and being a corrupt real estate developer. So when I said that, I think she kind of get it. But it's hard for me because I can't disagree with them not being impressed with Kamala Harris. And I don't consider it my job to make sure Kamala Harris gets elected or make sure Donald Trump doesn't get to the White House. I've been open. I think Donald Trump is a grave threat. I don't want to see him back in office, but I can't fake support for Kamala Harris. I can't fake that she's going to follow up on a lot of the things she's running on. And I don't really think it's my role to do either. It's my role to tell you the truth. They're both purchased. It's both a race to the bottom as far as how much money they could raise from billionaires. I think Democrats are better on certain issues, mostly social issues, and those do matter. Reproductive rights, immigrants, guns. But on the economic issues, on any sense of fairness in this country, on that's not going to happen, but reducing government corruption, getting money out of politics, healthcare. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say the Democrats are that much better. They're not. They're not. And that's why we're in the situation we're in. That's why an orange orangutan used car salesman got elected in the first place, could have got reelected in 2020 if he didn't fuck the pandemic up so bad, and is even within smelling distance of the White House again. The Democratic Party, if they did even two bold things, if they had done two bold things in Biden's first term, to be wiping the floor. If Biden wasn't such a fucking coward and he would have fought to extend the child tax credit instead of letting President Manchin stop him, if that child tax credit that they expanded for a year, you heard all these things, it cut child poverty in half. Well, if he would have fought to extend it and won, I think the polls would be much different in favor of whether it be Biden or Harris. And I don't even think the child tax credit is enough. It's good, but it's not health care for all. It's not taxing wealthy people and corporations the way they should be taxed. It's not universal basic income. It's not a government jobs guarantee. But at the very least, it did take the edge off for the most vulnerable among us. But what you have right now is a campaign of bumper stickers. Kamala Harris, when she does offer specifics, it's all stuff kind of, if you have your main meal, it's all the side dishes. It's not the main meal she's offering. $25,000 tax credit for first-time homebuyers. Well, Jordan, Trump's not giving that, right? But if you're drowning or if your house is on fire, a super soaker's not going to put it out. So $25,000 for first-time homebuyers, that's great. But does that address the 7 to 8% interest rate they have to pay right now? Does that address the fact that Democrats and Republicans are allowing Wall Street to buy up America and inflate the prices? Then you go over to, she's talking about a $6,000 child tax credit. Not for everybody, but for the worst among us. That's great. How's she going to get that through? Is it going to be another fucking another thing for a year? People are tired of Band-Aids for gaping economic gunshot wounds. So, we'll see. I mean, obviously I didn't survey the whole city, but I like to talk to the people because that's where you kind of get a pulse for where things are at. And the people I spoke with, I really feel in Michigan, I don't know if the polls are, over the last 4 years, in the Trump era, which is the last decade or so, there's been an issue where polls have not been able to capture all of Trump's support. Trump has been underrepresented in the polls. The polls were way off in 2016. They were off in 2020 as well. And I think they're off because I don't really know if all these polls are reaching, the large swath of black men that are considering Trump. And it could be the type of thing that, welcome to Indiana. We've now entered Indiana. It could also be the type of thing that not everyone wants to be honest with the pollsters. There was a lot of white folks in 2016 that voted for Trump but wouldn't tell pollsters that. It could be similar with black folks. So I don't know. All I know is it should not be this close. And at the Democratic Party, whatever you think of Bernie Sanders, because some of our viewers are more conservative, whether you love him, whether you hate him, nobody was guessing what his policies were. You knew what you were getting because they were big and they were bold. You might think they were bold in a good way or you might think they were bold in a bad way, but you got it. Medicare for all, free college, Green New Deal. But with Harris, you got to look on the website and it's a lot of technical stuff. Now she's talking about expanding child care greatly. I think that's a good thing. The problem is Democrats run on a lot of things. Obama ran on single payer. And we ended up getting a fucking Republican health care plan. That's, to this day, is terrible. Obamacare. So she's running on things, but I don't really see, I don't know how she's going to get a lot of it done. And also, she's running on the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. I think this is a major issue. I'm not going to mansplain to women. It is a big issue. I have zero issues. Totally understand any woman who votes for a Democrat based on that issue. But have you heard from Kamala Harris just how she's going to restore Roe v. Wade? Have you heard from her how she's going to restore the law of the land back to Roe v. Wade? Because she said she's in support of getting rid of the filibuster to do it. Well, it's one thing to support getting rid of the filibuster. It's another thing, are you actually going to fight to remove the filibuster? I think they should remove the filibuster, period. But are you actually going to fight to remove the filibuster so that you could get a vote through Congress with, it would it would basically be almost every Democrat and no Republicans, to make Roe v. Wade the law of the land. I have no idea if she's going to fight for that. Because if you don't get rid of the filibuster, you would need basically a supermajority of Democrats to codify Roe v. Wade. They're not going to have anywhere near that. So the only way to make it law on a national level is to get rid of the filibuster. The donors want the filibuster. The donors want gridlock. The donors want bipartisan compromise, which when you hear bipartisan compromise or bipartisan deals, usually a corporate shit sandwich. So that's my opening monologue. What do the people think, John?
Somebody wanted you to talk about the Green Party.
They want me to talk about the Green Party?
Yeah.
Well, the Green Party is a party. It's a third party.
Well, I guess what you...
I don't know. What do I think? Well, I'm interviewing a Green Party candidate in Wisconsin. His name is Chester Rogers, I believe. I don't want to look down at my phone because I'm driving. I think his name's Chester Rogers. He is running for Congress as a Green. He's an 82-year-old activist there, lifelong activist in the area. So I'm interviewing him about local issues in Wisconsin and Milwaukee area. What do I think about the Green Party? I think that, I believe that if we live in a democracy, then we should want as many choices as possible. I believe whether you love Jill Stein or you hate Jill Stein, I think it's undemocratic to try and throw legal roadblocks and spend tens of millions of dollars on high-priced lawyers to try and shut a candidate like Jill Stein off the ballot. And not just Jill Stein, other third-party candidates, Cornel West. I think that's undemocratic. And I don't really think that you either believe in democracy or you don't. So if you do believe in democracy, you can't make these mini exceptions where, well, we got to stop Trump, so we're going to do anything to make sure Harris wins. And when I mean anything, by making sure Jill Stein can't be on the ballot. I don't support that. On policy, I agree with someone like Jill Stein and Cornel West 100 times more than Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. So that's not even a close call. But listen, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Is the Green Party organized? No. Is the Green Party dysfunctional in many ways? Yes. Has the Green Party also persevered as a third party more than other third parties? Yes. And I do think Jill Stein is telling the truth when people have criticized her. Well, why do you show up every 4 years? First off, she doesn't show up every 4 years. She wasn't the Green Party candidate in 2020. Howie Hawkins was. And the reason she's the Green Party candidate now is Cornel West was running as a Green for about 5 minutes and then dropped out. But to keep ballot access, the Greens have to run a presidential candidate. That is true. If they don't run a presidential candidate, it hurts their chances to get on ballots in the future. So, I don't know if that answers it, but that's what I think. I mean, I think you should vote for whoever you want. If you live in a swing state, I understand. What else?
Might be both.
The sun is out.
Yeah, I think we're both.
You think what?
I think we're both subs.
Oh, fucker.
I think we're back.
We back?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. Driving through the Midwest and the CIA is zapping us. So that's my thoughts on the Greens. What else are the people saying?
election cycle is proof, this is from Chris Garrett, the election cycle is proof that they will not tolerate any opposition to the democracy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that how many elections can we hear this is the most important election of our lifetime before it all kind of just becomes empty theater and pretty hollow? Listen, do I think Trump is a danger? I do. I think if he gets reelected, there will be zero restraint on him this time? Yeah. I think it could be really bad with a Donald Trump reelected. But I also think that, I mean, after a while, the human condition can only take so much. And I can't bring myself to tell you, oh, you know, the sky will fall if it's not Harris. I think if Harris wins, it's pretty much the awful status quo that exists now. And if status quo, I think it's pretty much the awful status quo that exists now. And if Trump wins, it's going to be worse than that. But it's going to be shitty either way. And I think one of the women that I was talking about yesterday, those lifelong Democratic supporters who now are kind of thinking about Trump, one of them said, I'm tired of voting lesser of two evils. We're still getting evil regardless. And I couldn't have put it better myself. But to me, it's just so sad and infuriating. You know, for you folks who've been watching me for years, I like to talk about, we live in an alternate reality where what's actually going on is just completely hidden from the masses. The actual human suffering and corruption on the ground is not on TV. You know, what do they say? The revolution will not be televised. Well, the corruption and the injustice and the fuckery is also not televised. And it's just really infuriating to me that we're going around this community that John and Jason covered, Dimmock, Pennsylvania, 14 years their water's poisoned. Not an election issue. Not an issue if you watch the media. The mass.
And it's crazy about Dimmock that they have documentaries and films out about it. So many people have visited there and went to the homes and seen the water, and they still have issues. Nothing has got done.
Who cares about those?
That's crazy.
Who cares about those redneck white folk out in the sticks, John? Who cares about those poor people in Kalamazoo that we're gassing?
Status Coup.
We can't make money off of them. I'm talking about the government.
I know.
Status Coup cares. And we care even more if you supported us. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. I ain't getting any younger, and I can't do this much longer if we don't grow. I've squeezed as much juice out of this orange as I can, but we need to grow. And that means on these trips, we need to gain at least 50 to 100 paying members, and we got to make a couple grand in donations to keep this up. And I really would like to hire another reporter. And I've been saying that for a while, but if you can't support us, I understand. But if you can, I'm pretty sure for those of you who are not Status Coup members watching, there's probably something you spend $5 on a day, maybe. Is it shitty coffee? I don't know. There's probably something you spend $10 on a week that you don't absolutely need. So really then it comes down to the question. Is actual living, breathing journalism something you feel you absolutely need? Because if you do, you could redirect that money to us. Because it's not going to fancy steak dinners on the road. It's going to the reporting. It's going to the travel. The fanciest thing we've eaten so far is what?
I don't know.
Pulled pork?
Maybe.
Yeah. So sign up, statuscoup.com/join. We'll shout you out. Colin sends me emails with super chats and people who sign up. So I'll shout you out. What else?
Somebody wanted to know if you knew about what's going on in the Navajo Nation. They're fighting against uranium being transported through the land.
I've seen a few emails from people about uranium mining on Navajo Nation. So I vaguely know. Yeah, it's just tough. I'm trying to cover as much as humanly possible, but I'm only one person. So yes, I am aware of the mining going on in Navajo Nation. I know that There's a lot of health problems related to it. We'll try to cover it, but John, how many people are reaching out to me at a given time?
20 a day.
Yeah, I got about 20 to 30 people reaching out to me every day. Cover this, cover that, and they all mean well, and I understand, but I'm only one person. I do need time to go to the bathroom. I do need time to eat, sleep preferably. So I wish I could cover it all, but I can't. But if you are somebody watching who happens to have some money in your wallet, maybe a lot of money in your bank, if you're not an absolute villain and you want to support Status Coup, let's talk. Because we definitely are in need of larger funding from non-corporate vultures. Yeah, let's talk. Who else we got? My shoulder's killing me.
Jordan speak to the fact of Status Coup channels nearly at a 250,000, which is fantastic.
Can I speak to what?
Just saying that the channel's almost at a 250,000.
Yeah, so we've been growing recently, but I don't know, it was like 2 weeks ago. I had to go out for something, I remember. And I think we were at like 218,000 subscribers or something. I looked before I went out to run an errand. I came back like an hour or so later, and we were at 220,000. For those of you at home, that's a 2,000 increase. That does not happen. You don't go up 2,000 subscribers in an hour unless something happened. So I look, and this interview I did with this woman down near Asheville, North Carolina. Obviously, the Hurricane Helene did a number on Asheville, North Carolina. They're still recovering. It's a disaster. So I interviewed this woman, and it just goes to show you. I mean, I don't know why it took off. I have no idea. I don't know why YouTube's algorithm decided to pump this one out, but I don't know what it's at now, but last time I looked, it was over 2 million views, which is humongous for us. We gained like 25,000 subscribers just from that one video. And obviously that has a domino effect, because all these new people that suddenly saw your channel for the first time are then looking at other videos. So a lot of our other videos started going up significantly, like the chemical fire we've been covering down in Conyers, Georgia. So, I wish YouTube would, pump out some more of our videos, because the interview I did with that woman is not different than anything else we do. It's us interviewing people on the ground, us interviewing activists, us interviewing residents. For whatever reason, that one took off, and I think it's within the last 2 weeks we're up over 30,000 subscribers, which is incredible. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I hope I wish you would have been able to find us earlier, but YouTube does not particularly like to recommend channels like this that do something called substantive on-the-ground journalism on the corporate corruption and injustice strangling America. They like to pump into your feed bullshit, hot takes, people fighting with one another, and reactionary shit. Not, communities being poisoned by their government, communities being poisoned by corporate America, worker exploitation. But I'm not going to complain. They let this video through for whatever reason. It blew up. So yeah, I on one end, I'm incredibly proud, because frankly, I say this not to brag, but I say this because it's true. We do the output that we put out, and what we do what we're able to do. Normally, you would have a crew of 10 people. You would normally have a crew of 10 people to do a 3-state reporting trip. You'd have a reporter, you have multiple producers, you probably would have an audio, like corporate media, they'd have an audio and video person, 2 different people. You'd have bookers that stay back that aren't on the road, that are booking guests for you. I'm out here doing the reporting, I'm booking the guests. I got 20 conversations going with different people. John is doing the job that normally 2 or 3 tech people would do on the road. So we work hard, and we don't do that because we want to stretch ourselves too thin. We don't have the money. We don't have the money to hire more people. I could have very easily sold out. I could have got some angel investor or something that's a corporate hack. I could have went down the path of trying to get larger funding from more corporate entities, but I didn't want to do that. I did not want to do that. I wanted to do this the right way, and have the freedom to cover what matters. But the right way is the hard way. To be clear, we're 6 years old, and Status Coup is 6 years old, and I'm very proud. If things were different, if YouTube had not changed its algorithm years ago to basically fuck independent media, I'm pretty sure, actually I'm positive, we would have been over 1 million subscribers by now. I'm not going to lie, it is frustrating and downright infuriating sometimes to see the type of channels that have millions of subscribers. I'm not going to name names, but you could imagine. Just people that push conspiracy theories, people that do very little research, people that bloviate out of their asshole and just chase clicks in their studio, and have millions of subscribers. Meanwhile, we're out here really just scratching quarters together to do this. And our days are long. When we're on the road, we leave the hotel generally around 9:30, 10 a.m. And between the stories we're covering, the people we're interviewing, and then driving to the next stop, it's like a 15, 16-hour day. It's exhausting. And if you travel, even not for work, just traveling can be exhausting. So, yeah, that's a long monologue, but I'm proud that we're at 250,000, and also bittersweet because I know we should be a lot more. I'm also proud but bittersweet because if you don't know, which obviously you do because I've told you 100 times, I released a book in August, and that's been a second and third full-time job promoting the book, and I'm trying to get it out there to the masses, but it's very hard because I'm up against an election. It's very hard to release and promote a book during the home stretch of a presidential election. So I've been on quite a lot of podcasts. I'm going on more. But please spread the word. If you haven't gotten my book, and you can get my book, We the Poisoned, Exposing the Flint Water Cover-Up. It's 2 months old. I believe it exposes the biggest government cover-up of the 21st century, the ongoing disaster in Flint, the ongoing poisoning of Flint. The audio version of the book came out 2 weeks ago. So it's now available on audio. If you want to get it on audio, you could get it at Audible or other audio platforms. So yeah, sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm proud, but I know we should be further than where we're at, too. What else, Johnny Cakes?
We got a couple of super chats from Moral Compass.
Moral Compass.
Let's see here. They said, I used to work 1 mile from graphic packaging. I learned about their pollution from you.
Isn't that something? You want to hear something? You want to hear something fucking crazy? The first time I went to Kalamazoo, I think it was 2023. Yeah. So I'm interviewing folks. We go back to my car, which was a block away from the plant, and we were at the plant today too. And there's a guy in his car asked me, "What are you guys doing?" Because he saw my microphone and Colin was with me, so the camera. I say, "Oh, we're covering this graphic packaging. A lot of people are sick from the shit they're releasing." He starts asking me, "What do you mean they're sick?" I'm explaining asthma all over the community, high rates of asthma, COPD. He says, "That's why I feel this way."
Oh.
It was a worker.
Wow.
It was a worker in graphic packaging who had no idea what they were even releasing.
Yeah.
But he said, I started working there like 2 months ago and I can't breathe. And somebody else today that we interviewed said they've spoken with workers there and people are dying of cancers that work there and all. So not only are they poisoning the community, they're poisoning the people that work there. But this was a worker who worked there who did not know about the toxic shit they're releasing and was sick. And you could say, well, that's a dumbass work. Well, a lot of people just need to work and feed their family. And it is one of the bigger employers in Kalamazoo. And that is the curse of capitalism. It puts the economy and productivity and GDP and stock market and shareholder returns ahead of human health and dignity. So that's why we exist. And I told John, honestly, John, I'm starting to consider renaming this thing. I'm starting to consider renaming us United Sacrifice Zones.
Rename the country?
The company and then the country. Oh. First we'll rename the company and then the country.
Okay.
Are we not the United Sacrifice Zones?
We are.
I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere. Something's going on. Poisoning. Water, air, soil. Railroads. Chemical plant. I mean, it's unbelievable. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent again. What else?
Oh, look, a plant next to us.
Oh, another plant. You see what I'm saying? The sun is setting soon in Indiana. We're driving to Milwaukee and I want some beer cheese. I want some beer cheese. And you know what's really upsetting? When I FaceTime my almost 2-year-old daughter and she doesn't want to talk to me. It's very depressing.
Don't get used to it.
It's very depressing. She's caught up on Daniel. She's focused on Daniel Tiger or Elmo, and she can't be bothered to talk to her father. It's just very depressing. I digress. So that's basically what's going on. I know the rest of the media is only focused on the election, but we're out here covering, communities being poisoned, gentrification, i.e. economic terrorism, and all the issues you will not hear about from Rachel Maddow or Wolf Blitzer or New York Times columnists. Yeah. John's a little slow. Give him some time. Oh, my shoulder. I need something stronger than CBD. I have a pinched nerve in my shoulder/back. So all day I'm going like this to try and get a crack.
Right. Mike Struchin, $10.
Thank you, Mike.
Hope I said that right. Finished Weed the Poison today. Wrenching, damning, and look at us now. If human greed and duplicity wouldn't get you, the climate crisis will. Kudos, Jordan, for being an essential voice.
Thank you, sir. You want to know another thing I'm pissed off about, Mike? This fucking asshole behind the camera. I gave him the book, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
I gave you the book before it came out.
Yeah.
What are you like, on chapter 1?
Chapter 13.
Oh, chapter 13.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, getting there.
I don't read every day. It's just when
Well, it's now on audio. You could have got the audio.
Right.
And been done with it already.
Right. I'd rather listen to you sing in the
Okay,
car.
that's true. Honestly, if we wouldn't have a copywriting bonanza, I would just do karaoke live. I think we'd get more super chats, honestly. We could do Third Eye Blind. We could do 90s. A little bit of 80s. A little rap. No P. Diddy, obviously. But we'd get hit with YouTube copyrights.
Yeah.
So I can't.
The people would love that.
I do think the people would love that. And I said to John, I wish we had the money to hire a third camera guy or a second camera guy to film a documentary of us on the road.
Yeah, we definitely.
But there's certain things we can't film, like last night. Apparently, I might have had one too many. I wasn't driving, and I was going like this with my hands in the passenger seat, and I guess the cop put on their sirens behind us, and you thought that they were pulling us over.
I thought we were getting pulled over, but
Yeah.
not because you're waving hands.
Oh, okay. I thought it was because of my waving.
Wrong turn or something.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But you were telling me stop that,
Yeah.
and I guess I didn't
was
stop.
like, chill out. Let's figure this out first. And like, John, you're not having fun?
Oh boy.
Let's see. Okay, we have Tony D's music channel, $5.
Thank you, Tony.
Get yourself some Mars Cheese Castle in Wisconsin. You will thank me later. Your reporting is what every media outlet should be doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. What's it called? Mars Cheese Castle?
Mars Cheese Castle, yeah.
That sounds good.
Chris Garrett, $5. Please consider donating towards this on-the-ground reporting trip. Membership supports real independent reporting.
That's right.
StatusCoup.com/join.
OG Chris Garrett. I also want to mention, totally, to be honest with you, I've had no time to really look. I don't know the details, but there is an independent journalist, Jeremy, do you know his last name? The guy that Israel captured?
Oh, Jeremy Light.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of his last name, so sorry if I know his first name's Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
But he's with the Gray Zone. He covers a lot of international stuff, and he's been reporting on Israel's just straight up terrorism. Especially, he covered the settlers, the extremist settlers that were trying to block food going into Gaza. I believe it was last week that Israel basically arrested him. They're keeping him. I don't know.
They arrested him and other journalists.
Okay.
They actually, from what I saw, they beat him, but they released the other journalists, but they're still holding him.
Yeah, it's outrageous. The fact that A, we're funding this, B, Biden is not on the phone with Netanyahu right now. Of course, they don't care because it's not a CNN journalist. It's not, Associated Press. It's an independent outlet. Right. And it doesn't even matter, like, if you like this guy, if you like Gray Zone, none of that matters. This is a journalist. And he's been detained and arrested, and God knows what they're doing to him, because we've heard horror stories of what the IDF has done to Palestinian prisoners. I mean, this is outrageous. So I just wanted to say that he should be released immediately. Immediately. It's disgusting.
Let's see, we got more super chats. $4.99 from Mark Wayne.
Mark Wayne?
Lane.
Oh, I'm like, Mark Wayne's watching?
Well, who's Mark Wayne?
Oh, I'm thinking Mark Twain. I was thinking about Mark Twain. See, this is what happens when you're on no sleep and you're a little delirious. I'm not under the influence, by the way. I have not had anything.
New YouTube member, Set Show.
Welcome.
We also have members from yesterday, Candace, Teresa, and May.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. All our new members. And by the way, I left out, as a Status Coup member, we do monthly members calls with our members. So that will be coming up when I get back. We do it through like a program similar to Zoom. So yeah, not just supporting us, but we also like to talk to the members. We do like a hour to 2 hour call every month.
We have a $10 donation from Alexandra.
Thank you.
Zakia donated $10 recurring. Dear Status Coup staff, I'm joining at the $10 a month level.
Woohoo!
I lost the privilege to soothe myself with alcohol and other drugs a hell of a long time ago. I want to contribute to y'all's effort to anesthetize. Did I say that right?
Anesthesia? I can't.
After many of your interactions with either cheek of the duopolies arise. Arse. As George Galloway is wont to say, take good care. Okay. I think I got through that.
Thank you. I don't want you to soothe yourself with alcohol and drugs. That's not a good plan. Soothe yourself with good old-fashioned, independent, on-the-ground reporting. I will be your drug. Gladly.
Let's see what else. Colin, if you have anything else. Oh, okay. Moral compass, another $5. When will we get a politician who will stand for these values?
When I run for mayor and then president. It might be coming up in the future. I might run for mayor and then president.
I think that'll be the only time I vote. Is when you run.
Yeah, this asshole doesn't vote. Can you believe that?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I don't participate in corruption. I don't vote for corruption. I just expose it and cover it.
Right. That's funny. I don't know when, honestly. The few politicians I've known in my travels that actually fought the good fight against corruption are either dead or dead. Yeah. Not because they were assassinated, just they died. So, well, actually one might have been assassinated, so that's, yeah.
Okay, Jeremy Lofredo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So it looks like they released him.
Oh, good.
But he doesn't have his phone or his passport. They're holding on to that.
So how's he going to leave?
Right, he can't.
So where is he then if they released him?
I guess he's in Israel somewhere, I guess in the hotel.
Well, at least they released him, but I don't know what grounds to keep his passport. You're basically keeping the guy prisoner in Israel.
Right, exactly. Let's see. Chris Garrett, $5. Let's hear it for John and Colin T, who we don't often see in front of the camera.
That's right.
Thank you, Chris.
And send Colin T good vibes. He recently had a loss in the family. So he's working with a heavy heart. Oh, God. I think we're almost to Chicago. You want to stop for deep dish?
Sure.
On the road again. I can't wait to be on the road again.
Somebody said Mayor Jordan.
Mayor Jordan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jordan for Mayor.
I asked my wife if she would move to Flint with me, but that was a no.
No, I think this is the first Michigan trip that we didn't get to Flint.
Yeah, might go on the way back. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ring, ding, 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 ding. Anything else before we bid adieu?
Colin, do we have anything?
Colin just sent an email, but I can't read it, so I don't know. I don't know if there's more.
Let's see if that's yep.
Colin, maybe you could figure out a hack so we could do karaoke without getting copyrighted. Do the people want karaoke?
There's got to be like instrumentals. We could just.
It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful life. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Moral Compass, $5. Weed the Poison was an infuriating book to read. Thanks for all the work you put in. Americans need more journalists like you.
Thank you. I got to tell you, I'm biased because I wrote the book, but I'm just thrilled with the feedback I've been getting.
Yeah.
Every single person, even people I don't know, tell me it's like one of the most corrupt things they ever read. And that's what I was going for. I was really going for, like, this is the real Watergate, you know? And I wanted confirmation, because sometimes you personally might think something is such a big deal, but other people don't. Or you personally might think like, oh, this is really fucking beyond the pale corrupt. But other people don't see that. But it seems that people who read it see and feel what I feel. So I not even just like lefties. I mean, my dad told me this is on par with the Bible. You know, my dad's like a little loopy. He's a Trumper. But he's like, this should be right next to the Bible. And he keeps going to the Barnes & Noble in Massapequa, where I grew up, demanding that they have me for a book signing. and I think they like are throwing him out. Yeah. He's like, maybe we could get Erin Brockovich to fly to Massapequa. I'm like, yeah, she'll fly to Massapequa for the book signing, Dad. Maybe we can get Michael Moore. Yeah.
Oh God, will be fun.
I don't love his politics, but
Let's see. New members. All right. New YouTube member Connery McGrath and new member Joy.
welcome, Connery and Joy. You give me great joy in your support. It's people like you that we could keep this up. It's very important that we keep this up. So, and we are now 2 hours away. And John will be switching with me as soon as we end this live stream because I'm tired of driving. So yeah, like I said, we'll be in Milwaukee for the next couple days. Wisconsin, Biden barely won Wisconsin last time. I think the margin was 20,000 in Wisconsin, which is nothing. And Wisconsin has been veering a little more red in recent years. So, again, I mean, I think it's a toss-up. You know, every day there's new polls coming out. I think this morning NBC News came out with a new one. CBS came out with a new one. I think the New York Times. And a lot of them have Harris up by like 2 or 3 points, but it's all within the margin of error. And in an NBC News poll I saw this morning, Trump had actually gained 5 points. So, like, he had closed the gap by 5 points. I think it was tied. So, to me, I'd say throw out the polls. I just think it's a coin flip at this point. I really think it's a dead heat. I don't want to give anyone, what do they call it, post-traumatic stress. So this would be pre-traumatic stress. It would not shock me if we have another year 2000 situation. It would not shock me if there was some type of recount in some of these states because I think it's that close. I think in America these days, the number of actual persuadable voters, meaning voters that are not already Team Blue or Team Red, you know, the independents, I think that's getting smaller and smaller. Some research says there's only like the election's going to come down to like 6% of persuadable voters. So I think this is a coin flip. And I also, frankly, I think if Donald Trump loses and it's close, I don't want to put this into the universe, but I'm just saying they're already laying the groundwork. They're already laying the groundwork. And from a January 6th veteran over here, he didn't storm the Capitol. He covered it. I mean, they're already saying it's rigged. I mean, I think the Speaker of their House this morning, Mike Johnson, was on Meet the Press or something, basically saying, you know, if it's a free and fair election. So that's how they answer. Yeah, you know, if it's a free and fair election. So they decide what's a free and fair election. So the Republicans, it will be free and fair if Trump wins. And if Trump loses, you know, there was, you know, weird glow-in-the-dark lights at a polling place in Milwaukee at 3 a.m, you know? So I don't know. I don't think our work will be done on November 6th is my point. I think, I really hope not, but
It's going to be bad.
I think it's going to be another Stop the Steal kind of thing. And this time it might make January 6th look like a picnic. I hope that's not the case. But they're just normalizing this.
Mom, FaceTime video.
Oh, my mom's FaceTiming me. They're just normalizing this corruption. They're just normalizing this not accepting elections. So we'll see. We'll see.
We got one more. Das Splash. Was that euros? $5.99.
Mm-hmm.
I bought my digital copy of your book on iTunes. Are there any differences in revenue for you depending on the platform your book is purchased from?
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think so. I think every download for the audiobook is revenue. So, yep. Yeah, we'll wrap up. All right. I hope we didn't miss anybody. I wanted to come live, so we had some type of content today for you. Like I said, we have a bunch of recorded videos that we're going to be trying to release over the next few days. We will be going live again tomorrow for Milwaukee. Thank you for your support. If you can donate, I really ask you to donate so we could help fund this trip. StatusCoup.com/donate. And more importantly, if you can support us as a member, please support us as a member. StatusCoup.com/join. You can become a member for as low as $5 a month. That's all I need, $5 a month. Thank you for watching, and have a... Oh.
Can I just do this for my friend's film is about Stop the Steal. So if anybody's in New York, let me see. My friend Nick Quested, who is a documentary filmmaker, he was covering the Proud Boys. He put out this film called 64 Days. It's going on at the, let me see what theater it is. It's at the Cinema Village on 12th and University in New York City. It's going to be in the theaters for a couple days. The film is called 64 Days, so you can just look that up. The filmmaker is Nick Quested. It's a great documentary about Stop the Steal and the movement, how it started and how it built up to January 6th, and who all the top players are. So you'll have a better understanding about January 6th and where we're headed, and that it's not over. It's just going to get worse. So go check out that film. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.